Hi, I'm Debbie Hartner. I'm Elsie Johnson. We are two sisters, Southern cooking. Hey y'all, we are making a Southern pecan pie. I've never had one, but I've made them quite a few times actually.
That's Elsie's forte, not mine, and I'm excited to try it. I tried a pecan pie a long time ago, and it was dry, and it was gross, and it wasn't very good.
They're good.
So
if you make them right, they're good.
They are. Yes, so I'm trusting in that fact because my sister has her own little recipes that she does. So she's going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and pour in the sugar and the corn syrup, and I've got this for you. And then what we're going to do is we're going to boil this for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then we're going to take it off the heat and add in the other ingredients. Actually, we're going to temper our eggs. So, but yes, I have not tried a good pecan pie. I tried one years ago and it wasn't.
I mean, they can be nasty if you don't do it right.
Correct.
So,
but I'm trusting that my sister makes delicious food, so she's going to make a magnificent pie here. So we did our pie crust already, and Elsie fancy dancied it up really well and made it all pretty. So we're actually going to be tempering our eggs here. Elsie's better at tempering, and we can also strain this too if we need to, if it gets like a little clumpy.
I'm actually going to pour this down in the bigger, so I'll have a little more room to pour in some hot liquid to stir it together.
Right. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that your sugar and your corn syrup is melted together really well, and it's not like
Gritty.
crystallized.
Yeah. We don't need this, do we?
You were going to use that for your tempering, but we can save a bowl.
Instead of cleaning another one?
Yes. Because I can tell you one thing. If there's one thing that Elsie and I do, we make a lot of dishes. Which reminds me, when we're done here, we gotta go put those away. We got a whole bunch of dishes in there. So,
what is that one thing that you see floating around the internet? It's dish drainer,
dishpan hands?
No, Jenga, where you stack it so high and everything.
That's us. One of these days, I'm going to take you in there and show you our like really intricate stacking of the dishes, and then you always need something that's at the very bottom of the stack. And
so then you are playing Jenga, trying to get what you need out without everything else falling.
Hot mess it is. Hot mess express, I should say. So I want to kind of lay off a little bit here and just let it kind of start building a boil here, because it wants to break down the sugars, and that's what it needs to do. It needs to break these sugars down. So it does take a little bit for it to actually come to a boil and to break those sugars down. You can make this with the dark corn syrup also. That's what most of y'all are used to though, is the darker corn syrup. I can tell you that I was a kid and it had to be one of our beloved family members that made that, and
You didn't like it?
Didn't like it. It was very dry.
Which is hard to, well, maybe the pecans were like really dry and crunchy on top. Maybe they overbaked it.
Or maybe they put them on towards the end of the baking, and it really didn't get softened in.
Yeah, because that's definitely not how you do it. You put them in at the very beginning, and as it bakes, they rise to the top. So,
see, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But that's because my sister makes pecan pies a lot, because apparently our stepfather is a huge fan of pecan pies.
And Roger is too. Roger loves pecan pies.
Well, we're going to put this to good use here. So as you see, we're starting to get a boil on our sugar combination here. So we're going to let this cook for about 2 minutes. I'm just going to keep it moving here so it doesn't crystallize and also doesn't burn. We don't want it to burn. So you got a timer on your watch there, sis?
It's 1:56. So when my watch hits 1:58, we'll stop.
And then we'll pour it in here, and then she can whisk some of it. We're not going to pour all of it in there, just a little bit so we can temper the eggs, because part of it is you want to be able to bring it to the same temperature a little bit at a time. So we also have butter that is softened, but it's not melted, and we melt it inside of this hot mixture, and then we'll put our vanilla in, then of course our pecans. And then we'll bake it for 45-50 minutes, maybe longer if needed at 350. And then you let it sit up. Then it firms up. All right. How close are we, sister dear?
We got about less than a minute.
Okay. This probably is about maybe 270 when it is completely cooked here, and it is ready to be taken off and put in here, because it has to reach a certain breaking point in order to break down the crystals in the sugar.
Okay, you're ready.
All right.
So just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Okay. Be careful. Don't let me hurt you.
All right.
All right. And I'm going to take this off the heat here.
A little bit more.
Okay.
Okay.
See how clear it is in there? You can see that? That is exactly what it's supposed to look like when it's broken. You're not supposed to see any kind of crystals in there.
No white at all.
Yeah.
Just a little more.
Okay.
Okay.
Sometimes it takes longer, so if you're making candy or anything like that, sometimes it takes a little longer for you to reach temp when you're trying to make candy.
All right, try one more little pour, and then I'll pour all this back in that. Okay.
Do you want mine and I'll take yours, or are you okay with that?
What?
With that? Okay?
I'm fixing to give it back in there. Yeah. Okay. Because I think it's
about ready.
Yeah, it's warm, so.
So we're probably going to need to strain this.
Yes, that, and it also said that to make sure you have.
So we're definitely going to get the strainer and strain this real quick before we mix the butter and the vanilla in, because it can turn to.
It said that you want to make sure it's smooth as it can be.
Right. You don't want scrambled eggs. And that happens when you are leaving. Okay. All right, Elsie's gonna go grab the strainer, and then we will, do you wanna grab a bowl too, Elsie, while you're at it?
My bowl that I had?
Yeah. No good deed ever goes unpunished.
Okay.
All right, so we'll go ahead and strain that through. You're just going to push all that goodness through. Make sure you get all the liquid that goes through, and just keep the other stuff out that is not going to be a good part of your pecan pie. So you can just kind scrape that there.
Okay.
I think we're good on that part, and we probably can go underneath and scrape it one more time.
You can just set that strainer back on top of your pot.
And we're going to go ahead and put in our butter. Here, you want this one? Might be a little easier. Elsie's going to go ahead and just get that in there and let it melt. There's 4 tablespoons of butter here. And put that in there. And then go ahead and put that in that end too. While we're at it. Now see how much we strained out and how much is in there. And we're going to, because this is going to be almost like a, not a custard, but it's almost like a gelatin, basically. Yeah. So it has like a very
it has like a crusty top on the top with the pecans that rise up, and then below it is soft and ooey and gooey and sweet.
Now, are we ready to put these in?
Yes.
Okay.
But let me get this butter all the way melted first.
Okay.
And then we can pour them in, and then we'll pour it in our pie.
And then it goes in the oven, 350 for usually about 45-55 minutes, somewhere around there. And it sounds like our oven is ready. So. By the way, if you're doing a pie like this, any type of like a custard pie or anything like that, you need to make sure you put a pan underneath your baking tin or your pie pan, because sometimes these boil over and then you have a hot mess in your oven. Okay. So.
Just stir them around. All right. So good. They're all coated.
All right.
And then we're just going to pour it in.
All right. Move that around. There we go. Now, do you put any extra on the top, or this will absolutely cover everything?
It will cover everything. It will rise up.
Oh, wow.
And it will...
Alright, so we're going to go ahead and put it in the oven at 350, and we will show you what it looks like when we're done. See you in our next video. Elsie.
And I'm Debbie.
We're Two Sisters Southern Cooking. And we thank you for visiting our page. Please like, share, and subscribe.
Thank you.
This show is produced by Two Sisters Productions, McRae, Georgia.